Welcome to the Voice of Oneness, your call to awaken. This show is your call to awaken to the truth of your being through the teachings of the Voice of Oneness, spoken by Amara. On this show, you will receive spiritual guidance and the teachings of oneness from the heart of spirit directly to your heart, along with the tools and techniques to apply these teachings to your day-to-day life. Tuning in each week, you will grow in a deeper, richer understanding of your true nature as teachings are offered about universal spiritual laws that govern our lives. You will learn the right use and application of these laws to achieve the richest life from the perspective of experiencing abundance in all areas of your life. Amara Bonet is a renowned psychic, spiritual teacher, coach, energy healer, mystic, and gifted visionary who taps into the higher realms to join with the vast collective of source energy. Now, your host of Voice of Oneness, Amara Bonet.
Hey, welcome friends to the Voice of Oneness, your call to awaken podcast. I am Amara Bonet, the presenter of the Voice of Oneness, and I welcome you this evening to the show that we have for you, which is Perception Unveiled, Empowering the Human Experience. So this is a rather deep topic. So I'm going to take it slow, and I've got some notes. And I do ask that if you have any questions, to please put them in the comments, and I will address them. Don't sit back and hold on to them. Let them go. Put them in the comments, and I'll address them. Also, let me know that you're here, that you're listening. It's nice to know that someone's listening to me, and let me know where you're from, and I will welcome you personally. So thank you for joining me. So tonight we're going to delve into the fascinating realm of perception, explore the profound influence of perception on your life experience, and uncover the true power that it holds. Discover practical ways to reclaim your personal power and transform perception into a constructive rather than a destructive force. In this episode, we'll explore techniques to restore balance to your mental and emotional well-being by harnessing the power of choice across all aspects of your life. Welcome, Courtney. Hello. Thank you for letting me know you're there. I appreciate you. We eagerly welcome your questions and, as always, encourage you to share your personal experiences. And I think I might share one or two of my own tonight. I'm not typically a big sharer of my personal experiences. And there's reasons why I don't do that, because I certainly don't want anyone, if they're not having anything similar to that, or many times people compare, and I don't want to put that in someone's consciousness, but I do share when I feel that it gives a good example of what the topic is about. So I will share, I think. As we begin, I want to say that it is my intention. We always want to set our intentions so that we have we're setting the course to follow. So I want to set my intention. My intention is to present these teachings, which have been coming to me since 2006, for the purpose of awakening to the true nature of our being, to heal separation in all of its forms within our consciousness. This is a challenging task to do at this time, because we are more divided than ever before in our history. We are more divided. I enjoy you, Amora. I have missed the lives, but I always try to catch up. Thank you, Courtney. And I like that you say you try to catch up when you miss the lives, because it is so valuable when we listen to a replay of something that we participated in live. It's like reading a book over again. We get something more from it. It helps to crystallize the information a little bit more. So that's a great thing to do. So I encourage people who have not thought of doing that to do that, because it is very beneficial, very beneficial. So much of what is to be shared is very deep, very deep. And because it is so deep, once again, review the replay. Excuse me. This expansion is always a process to be experienced through one's awareness. It is advised that, as we spoke about listening to the replay, it's advised that we listen and we feel the vibration as we're listening to the live, and not put our focus on trying to comprehend every word that is spoken, everything that's said, every concept. We don't want to take it and place it into the information that we already have within our mind and make it a in the mind process. This is meant to be an in the heart process. This is a heart opening experience. This is how we expand in the heart. We come to the heart. Our mind is very limited source. We want to allow the mind to rest and feel more into it. So that's what I recommend. And when we do that, we avoid resistance, the resistance of the mind, and flow into the openness to receive. So we really get more from what we're listening to when we do it that way. Allow the resonance to flow. Jamie Lee Keller, good evening. Nice to have you. Allow what resonates to flow, and what meets with resistance to either be discarded or left to review at another time. That's one thing, when we experience life and we are maybe even talking to somebody or reading a book or listening to like a podcast like this, and we want to get the most out of it. If something's really not in resonance, meaning that it doesn't feel right, doesn't fit with us when we're listening at this time, it's okay. It's okay to say, you know what? I'm not getting this right now. I'm not in resonance with it. I'm just going to let it go. And then we may choose to revisit it at another time, or simply just let it go. It's okay. It's okay. We actually need to give ourselves permission to do that, because we always want to be perfect in a lot of what we do. And we're always striving to do better. So we want to make sure that we give ourselves permission to experience what's for us in the moment. Casey Castle, nice to see you. Hello, welcome. And if I keep clearing my throat, it's been an allergy day for me. So I've got a slight headache and I may clear my throat a little bit. So I apologize for that. I'm trying though. I'm trying to soldier through this. Okay. I lost my place in my notes here. Okay. Allow what resonates to flow, and what meets with resistance to be discarded or left to review at another time. All is correct. Force nothing. You are all you ever need to be in every moment. This is always. We are all we ever need to be in every moment. And nothing or no one can change that. Our beliefs about ourselves impact our reality of which we experience, but can never change the truth of that which we all are. And our human experience is uncovering the truth. It's all about uncovering the truth. All that we do in our life, all relationships that we have, every experience is about uncovering the truth. So Jamie Lynn says, I agree. If you desire to put your effort into something, you have to be in it. Heart and mind. If you aren't committed at that moment, you won't get the best out of what's being presented. Right. And I've studied with different meditation teachers throughout the years, and one particular would say, every time you sit on the mat and you come to meditation, I don't care if you've been meditating for 50 years, it's the first time. It's the first time you're sitting. It's the first time you're opening up to the experience of meditation, because that clears the fields and allows you to be fully present and receive what's for you in the moment. because we are a moment by moment expression of consciousness, experiencing itself through awareness. That's what we are. So when we allow ourselves to be that consciousness and not have to go within our minds to control the flow of energy, then we get to experience what's really here for us. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's the game called life. That's the game called life. If you feel better, let's hope you wake up feeling 110%. Thank you. Okay. All episodes are recorded and may be viewed on YouTube at the Voice of Oneness or WLTK-DB radio station YouTube channel as well, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Audible, and other syndicated podcast services, all listed under the Voice of Oneness. Let's talk of awakening from the dream of which you've been living. Once again, we speak directly to the listener. We are here for you. We are you. You are us. Christina Sanders, hello. What a fun surprise to find this live. Wow, how wonderful it is to connect with you. We go way back. We go way back to when I lived in Temecula, California. Nice to see you, beautiful soul. So, awakening, expanding your thought to open to the endless possibilities for experience in life. Life is good. Life is God. God is allness. We have sprung forth from the allness as individuated aspects of awareness in a sea of consciousness. Each of you experience your unique point of conscious awareness in every moment. You are the ever-expanding life of oneness. You exist as energy in a field of energy in motion, vibrating and ever moving forward. Your focus is on a very tiny part of the expression of you, and that we call our lives. What you consider to be your life experience, it holds limitations based on your beliefs, perceptions, mindset, all of which create your view of the world. You are a creative energy with unlimited potential, creating a myopic illusion of forms, living a story of repeated thought forms and believing that that's all that you are. You are the light and love of the Most High Creator of all that is created, of which is experiencing itself in a limited form through you to continue the eternal expression of life in all its forms. This is something for us to really sit with and really go over it again and again and again. Because as it lands with us initially, we go into the process of cognition and we say, okay, well, I understand this. I understand the concept. I understand the oneness. I understand all connected. But I can guarantee, and I know that we are not embodying it in its fullness. And we're not yet to do that while we are here experiencing what we're experiencing at this point of development on the planet. We're all in the process here of going through awakening at different levels of awareness, but we're not fully present in oneness. For if we were, our feet wouldn't be on this ground. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't need to be here. We would have gone through all the experiences to bring us to the oneness, which that's a point, and then we go on from there because we are ever expanding, forward moving life, eternal life. But while we're here on this plane of existence, we're experiencing based through the lens of our mind, through a lens of an ego, which is steeped in separation and limitation. And there's a reason for that. And we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to delve more into it and what we can do to experience the very best that we can in our ongoing evolution of the development of our spiritual understanding of that which we are. The spiritual understanding of that which we are, what we are in truth, not what our story reveals to us, what we are in our beliefs about who we are, but the true nature of that which we are. The true nature. There's a difference. So that we're going to talk about. That's why I said we're going to dive deep. So just allow the flow and it will be what it will be. Let us begin by looking at the meaning of perception. Perception, belief, and mindset. Because when we're speaking, they are terms that relate to one another and can sometimes cause confusion. Perception and beliefs are two words that refer to mental states or conditions that influence the way in which we see things around us, how we view ourselves, and how we view the world. It's based on perceptions and beliefs. The understanding of beliefs, perceptions, and mindset are not easy to separate as they are each interrelated. Belief is the hardened form held deep within subconscious mind, based on prior experiences and perceived information. So belief is the hardened form. It's something that we're holding. It tends to go deep. Sorry, I have to leave. It's movie night with hubby. How sweet. I'll surely watch the replay. Much love and respect. Thank you. Back at you, Jamie Lynn. Thank you. Thank you for signing on and being with us for the short time that you were. Enjoy movie night. That is very sweet. And that's a precious memory. That's a precious memory. And when we can have the opportunity to make precious memories, we don't want to miss that. So belief is hardened. It's held deep within. It's not a passing attitude or experience. It's that which is kind of foundational within us. We kind of operate from that which we believe. That which we believe creates the reality. Ingrained from childhood. Yes, it certainly can be ingrained from childhood. Yes. Yes, not just childhood, but we can come into life and we are opening up to and experience the continuation of energy in the form of belief also. We hold beliefs not only in the mind, but that mind also creates it in the body. So we can bring from one life experience to another, we can carry through beliefs and it will affect the physical form of our body. Yeah, right from past life. Yeah. And it's interesting because it's very impactful to, we look at things such as phobias. Somebody comes into life and they've just got this fear of heights, let's say, because a lot of people have fear of heights. And they're like, I don't understand. Nothing, there's no reason for me to have this really, strong phobia here, this fear of heights. Yet it stems from a past life experience. So Courtney, you've got that. Yeah. So it's from a past life experience. Now, that doesn't mean it needs to continue. That means, it's certainly at any time we can address what's going on and we can change, that. So the beliefs that we have are not that they're immutable, that they can't be changed. They're mutable. They can be changed, but it takes work because they're deep rooted. So we'd have to do some work around that to pull up those roots. And that certainly can be done, and it's done all the time, but it's not as easily as shifting a perception. Perception is the sensory experience, the bodily expression of mental and emotional processing of information. Each may influence the other, yet they are defined differently. The mindset is influenced by perception and beliefs and drives behaviors. So Courtney's relating to the fear of heights. It says, I've slowly tried to get better. I stood at the 25th floor triangle patio with clear glass. Wow, good for you. Holy cow, I would flip out. I remember when my brother, who used to live in Seattle, they have this Space Needle, if anyone's ever been there. And he tricked me, and I'm not comfortable with heights, but I'm usually pretty okay. But he tricked me into going up on the Space Needle. And I can say I did flip out at that time. I leaned up against the wall and I wouldn't move. So it was, I don't know how high that goes, but I remember it was, quite the experience at the time. So, what is perception? Perception is a reflection of the current state of consciousness. Okay, that which where we are within our consciousness, what we are believing. So it's a reflection of the belief. It is inherently judgmental because all perception is a function of our mind, the ego, which can only judge and label things. It doesn't think of new things, it labels and judges based on past experiences, based on a compilation of memories. So our perception, the perception of the height, is based on the experiences that we've had in the past. So we're just bringing that up and reliving it. It's not that which is it's not that which is the common experience of everyone. If they were in the Space Needle with me and we all went up, not everybody was panicked like I was. Certainly there could have been a percentage of us because, many people don't do too well with heights, but it is a perception. It was my perception of danger based on experiences that I've had in the past. That's what we are experiencing, our experience of danger. Experience of the thought too of I can't protect myself from this height. This is more than I can deal with, and that goes into belief. So that's where it goes into belief. I cried when I just went to the window in the hallway at first. Just crazy that she mentioned that. Carry on. I talk a lot. Yeah, I love it. I do too. But yeah, it is spot on that I mentioned it. But that's good. Um, so perception is a reflection of our current state of consciousness. The personal self and object we view. We see more than one because the ego holds the belief in separation. It distorts perception. So all we can see is duality. We believe, each of us, as we're looking out through our physical eyes, that there's an us and then there's the outside, the world, that which we look at. We believe that there was a hallway. We believe that there is a window. We believe that we are 25 floors up. All that is a belief that we're holding. And it's a shared belief when we're with others that are experiencing the same thing. It's a belief that we're separate from one another. It's a belief that we're separate from that which is experiencing the height. So if we were to just go for a moment on any experience, let's not go to the height one because we don't want to have anxiety here, but let's just go on the experiencing of something beautiful, something which brings joy to your mind, joy to your heart. And just close your eyes for a moment and just think of that experience. Something of which brings joy. And what popped into my mind was my grandson's first birthday party. It was so joy-filled and so beautiful. And we experienced it. I experienced it. I viewed it. I viewed my grandson eating his cake, his smash cake, and having just the best time. And I say, okay, as I saw that, I perceived he was having a great time. But if I were to say, can I reach out and can I grab the perception? Can I hold on to the energy of that moment in any way, shape, or form? Can I claim something there? I was the viewer of it. I was viewing the object. But was there anything in between the viewing and the object? Or is there something to grab onto? So what took place there was consciousness having an awareness, consciousness experiencing consciousness, the consciousness of that which I am, experiencing the consciousness of that which I am reflected back from my grandson. I've done that my whole life. Makes sense. Can I keep something from it? I'll call it a bookmark. Yeah, you can. But it is the consciousness having, who's listening to these words? We ask ourselves, who's really listening? Who's listening? Can you grab hold of who's listening? You have this physical body. Your physical body is not listening to the words. And the words are being perceived. You're taking them in. You're having an experience. But who's having the experience? And is there an experience and an experiencer? Is there the one who's doing the seeing and then the object? They are one and the same. They are one and the same. Consciousness is having the experience. And if we take it back to relate to oneness, there's only one of us here in this life. That oneness is the consciousness of the Creator. That which created all is having an experience as all in each and every moment. And that is the continuation of life. There is life and only life, eternal life. It goes on and on and on because it's experienced through the expression of consciousness in all of the myriad of forms, in you, in I, and all around us. All of the kingdoms, the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom, the animal kingdom. It's experienced in all kingdoms all the time. So it's our perception that distorts it because it believes that there's more going on, that there's two people, that there's something that belongs just to me. And we are very protective of that. And it's going to come to me from another example of, I can tell I spend a lot of time with my grandchildren. My 3-year-old grandchild has going through a phase now of the me and mine and doesn't want to share anything. Everything is mine. It's got to be mine. And I looked at that and I played with that thought within me and said, now let's look at how we adults experience life and where we get into trouble when we hold on to the it's mine, it's mine. We do it with people. We do it with experiences. We do it with places we've been, things we've done, things we've purchased. It's mine, it's mine. And it's all part of consciousness. It all has its matter. We can feel it. We can hold on to certain things that we've purchased. But it's matter. It's consciousness. It's being perceived by us as the item. But it's consciousness. Everything holds consciousness. Everything. There isn't anything in our experience that does not hold consciousness. And what do we know about consciousness? What do we know about energy? We are energy. Everything is energy. Consciousness is energy. It comes into form and out of form. It is never created nor destroyed. It simply is. It simply is because it is the Creator. It is that which created it. Now we take that in as a concept. But when we sit with it and we allow ourselves to really breathe it in, that helps us to open, helps us to become aware. When we see the world through the lens of our ego, which is duality, we are blind to the unity of God's universe. This is the cause of suffering because we believe that there's a separate self, that there's a duality. We see through the eyes of perception that which is not there in truth, but very real in our belief of our personal reality. Perception is the awareness of the elements of the environment through physical sensation interpreted in the light of experience. It is the way we see something. It is a view, not a conviction. It is a view. It's how we're perceiving it. I perceive it to be so. But it's not my stronghold. It's not my conviction. My conviction is my belief. Our beliefs are our convictions. Our perception is not a conviction. It is the way we see something. What you experience is the result of what you perceive to be true for you. Perception plays a crucial role in our day-to-day life experiences, as it is the process through which we interpret and make sense of the sensory information we receive from the world around us. It helps us to make sense of that which we are experiencing within our mind, because that's who needs it to make sense. The consciousness of which we are only knows the consciousness of which we are. It doesn't need to make sense of an experience. It is the experience. And that gets deep. And I know that. I know it gets deep. And I've tried to make this as easy to understand as possible. As we can get into a whole non-duality teaching, which is what this is. It's non-duality teaching. Advaita, we can get into that. Overall perception is an essential cognitive process that shapes our daily experiences and influences our thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and behaviors. It helps us make sense of the world and adapt to the surroundings, contributing to the overall understanding and interaction with the environment and others. So perception is essential to our functioning here in life, helps us to experience our emotions, helps us to make sense of the world as best as we can from a limited perspective, from self as the human, from self as the story. But then we can reach a point where we choose to go beyond that, and we choose to dive deeper into the consciousness of which we are. And that is what we're going to get into a little later. I'm trying not to interrupt you, Courtney. Hi, Courtney. It's beautiful, and no matter, what we are saying in the chat, or if we're chatting to each other, or you're saying something, asking a question, it's just wonderful to have that energy exchange. It's a beautiful thing. So worry not about interrupting. It's all good. It's all good. Beliefs are formed through a complex interplay of personal experiences. So this is our beliefs now, not just our perceptions, our beliefs, our convictions. Experiences, social influences, cognitive processes, cultural context, our upbringing, that which we've experienced, our interrelationships with one another, helps us to form our beliefs. From the personality's perspective, understanding the factors that contribute to belief formation can provide insight into how beliefs are shaped and why they may differ from individual to individual and from cultures to cultures. We have different cultural beliefs, different cultural mores, different understandings of what is. And someone outside of a particular culture may not relate to or understand in the same manner that which is actually taking place. They'll perceive something based on information that we hold within us, but it's not going to be the true reflection because we don't have all the information, for we don't live in that culture. We don't understand the nuances. We're an outsider looking in, so we don't understand it. So we need to experience the culturization of that, a culturization, to come into it, to have somebody explain what's really going on. Oh, this is what this means, or this is why we do this. And then we can grow, we can expand in our consciousness. Then now we have more information and we can relate. I live in the home. Courtney says, I live in the home base of differences, Latino husband and a daughter and a son on the spectrum, and a 3-year-old. Oh, I always have to be looking through different eyes. Yeah, through the eyes of the heart. I call it the eyes of the heart. You have to be open to allow, open to realize that we are consciousness having an experience. And we are each unique. We are each unique in our creation. So that the uniqueness is that which we experience. And as we are on this planet together, and as we are awakening, the awakening is coming to the understanding once again of that which we are in truth. And although there's one of us here, that's the consciousness of that which created us, that's having the experience, it's experiencing all of life ever expanding. It's the multifaceted view of consciousness having an experience in human form. And we are all together in this sea of consciousness. We are all together in life, interrelating with one another. And as we realize, we have our personal beliefs and our perceptions, and they do drive our behavior. And when we come to a point where we are desiring to experience deeper, be more in tune with that which we are in a spiritual sense, not just the physical, the mental, emotional, but the spiritual, they all come together when we balance. Then we open up to allow each other to simply be, without being judged. And somebody once asked me, well, how can we relate to each other if we're not judging? Because they're not judging, they believe they weren't judging in a bad sense, that they were making a decision, a choice of whether they wanted to be involved with the person. And I say, well, we can call that an assessment. That's an observation. We're looking at behavior and deciding, is this the choice? Is this what I want to do? We're not condemning. When we condemn, we are in judgment. And when we do that, we condemn ourselves. And we don't always realize that. We think there's the outside, them over there. They're the bad people. They're the evildoers. They're the evil ones. And that's a judgment. Now we've judged. Now we hold them in imprisonment as well as ourselves. We've imprisoned ourselves. That does not mean that someone's ill behavior. When I say ill, it's that which is outside of the field of love. That's ill. Doesn't mean that we condone the behavior. It means we recognize it as a level of awareness. It's a level of awareness. It's not who the person is or group of people are. It's not as they were created to be. It is as they are expressing through their perceptions and beliefs. It's not the true nature of their being. Our true nature is love. When we are within our true nature, we are all loving. When we are not loving, we are held within our perception and beliefs. We are not in our truth. We are living in the field of illusion. And that's why many of you will have heard that the life of which we're living is an illusion. And this frustrates people because they go, how could that be? It's very real. Yeah, it is very real in the perception of it, in our belief of it. That once we expand, that means that's our consciousness at this point in this moment when we hold that belief. But we are ever expanding, forward moving life. So given that means that we will not remain with the belief forever. We will grow. We will evolve. We all will grow. We all evolve. We are all consciousness. We don't get stuck in the mud, and that's where we remain for eternity. We grow, but we certainly are allowed to play in the mud. That's the game of life. And as we are doing what we're doing, and some of our behaviors are horrific, and some of them are grand. It depends on where we are within our awareness. And the horrific behaviors lend themselves to the all. For we get to witness, we get to bear witness to pain. And we get to choose that that's not what we want. We want peace. So then we realize that if we want peace, we don't want to travel down the same road that's experiencing the pain. So we get to learn as we bump around in the dark until we become more illuminated based on our understanding of that which we are in truth. And that makes up the life and the world of which we experience. We experience based on our beliefs. And we've come into this world, each of us, with a belief in duality. We've come into this world with a foundation, and we are reared on that foundation, that there is good and there is bad. You're a good girl or you're a bad girl. You're either listening or you're not. And if you're not, you're bad. Bumping around in the dark. Yeah, we are bumping around in the dark. We don't even have a candle some of the time. We're bumping around in the dark, trying to feel our way through, And we are always being gently guided by the consciousness of that which we are. It's gently guiding us, positioning us, so that we can experience the next greater iteration of ourself, because we are ever expanding life. So what that means is unique to the individual. What's the next right action for me is not going to be the next right action for someone else, because it's a unique experience of consciousness. We are each individuated aspects of the whole. We make up the whole that we are experiencing based on our beliefs and perceptions. And then as we grow further, we hold what's called vision. And that's when we are aligning with the Christ consciousness, with God consciousness. And that's when we release the perceptions and beliefs that we are separate. And we can begin to experience life in the wholeness of the perfection of which we were created. That's making it further along the game board of life. I like to call it a game board, because we're all at different places. We're all at different points of awareness, but we're all in the game together. We are all in the game together. And we play this game with physical laws and spiritual laws. Those are the rules. And we start off only knowing about physical laws. We know about the law of gravity. We know physical law, no physics. But when we go beyond that, we go into the metaphysics, we go beyond, then we open up to universal laws come into play. And we have to learn about universal laws, that we are vibration, we are energy, and like vibration attracts like vibration. And we have the power of choice, and we can choose our reality based on what we're holding within us, what we're subscribing to, what we're believing in. And that's part of understanding spiritual laws. That puts us a little further along on the game board. But it doesn't mean that there aren't those behind us that just know physical laws, that know strictly survival, knows me and mine, and that's it. There's nothing outside of that. I've got to protect mine at all cost because there's me and mine. It's not looking at the grandness, the overall picture. It's not looking at the oneness of life. It's very primal, very basic. So when we're experiencing that and we're further along on the game board, it's very disturbing for some when they look at what's happening in the world and say, oh my gosh, this chaos, that's going on. All this that's going on is necessary for the birthing of the higher frequencies. It's part of the birthing process. It's part of what needs to take place. It's not a horrific thing that this is the curse that's happening to everyone. No, this is the beauty. This is the beauty. But is there horrific experiences within it? Yeah. They're part of the perception. They do not take away from that which we are. That which we are always remains the same, no matter what goes on in appearances, in the world of effects. That which we are never changes. We can't be added to or we can't be taken away from. We always remain the same. It's when we come into this life, we enter the game board, we forget who we are. It's veiled. We forget who we are. We forget that we are one with that which created us. And that which created us is experiencing life in us, as us, through us, with us. We are the awareness of consciousness. We're not our age. We're not our bank account. We're not our friends. We're not simply the partner to the spouse or the significant other. We are consciousness having a human experience as the roles of which we have chosen to play so that we can move along the game board. And as we move along, we are to help one another. And we help one another by opening our hearts and allowing others to be who they choose to be, how they choose to behave, what they choose to experience. If we allow a child to play with all the toys that are in a particular room, and we don't take anything away and tell them not to touch anything, they will make a choice and they will play with what they want to, when they want to, how they want to, and they will experience life in a beautiful way. If we take that same child and that same room of toys and we limit them and we tell them they can only play with this one toy, and all other toys, they are off limits. They can't play with them. They will not appreciate that. And their nature will be so that they will try to play with the other toys. Because they were told they couldn't have freedom. It was taken from them. So even our own selves, when we think that something's taken from us, we want it. We want it more because it was taken from us. If there was an agreement and we just said, oh, okay, I don't really need that. I don't want that part of my experience. That's okay. It's not going to bother us. It wasn't taken from us. But once it's taken, now we tend to fight for it because we want it. We don't want anything taken. We don't want anything stolen. We feel in our minds and our perception and our beliefs, once again, limited, egoic, that it's been stolen from me. I want it back. Two children playing with there's one child playing with a toy, another comes over, sees that toy, wants it, steals it from him, grabs it, boom, I want it. Never mind what you want, I want it. And now you got two crying kids. You know, it's not that they're waiting and say, okay, when they're done, they'll put it down and then that toy will be there for me because it'll always be there. I always have what I need. They're not thinking from that perspective. They're thinking from I want it now, therefore it's my impulse and I'm going to satisfy that right here and right now. This is how we behave as adults as well. And when we realize that, and we allow each other the space to make our choices and to live our choices, then no one has to fight for it. We don't have to shove it down anyone's throat. If we want to behave a certain way, and we're allowed to behave the way we want to, as long as we're not harming another, then it's for us to choose. For us to choose to allow one another to say, hey, be free. Go ahead. And when we learn that we don't need borders. Damn snakes I bought at Zoom on Tuesday. You're tapping it without even trying. Yeah. So we don't need borders. We don't need to hide away when we are in a higher frequency. When we come more into the field and we open up to unity instead of separation. And we have separation, then we're competitive, then in an ill nature, not in a healthy one. We're competing because we think that there's something that we need to get before somebody else gets it. We need to get more. And that's not true. That's an illusion. There's an abundance for everyone. And when if someone we know experiences a success, or they've got a bonus at work, it was a $10,000 bonus. And we might say, oh, that's wonderful, but I'm over here and I'm starving. I'm trying to make ends meet here and I'm really struggling. And look at them. They don't even need it and they got a $10,000 bonus. Well, if we have that attitude, then that is pushing against the goodness in life. And it's pushing it away from our experience. But if we were to say, oh my gosh, you got a bonus, and then say to the self, what does it feel like to be recognized, to get a bonus like that? What must that feel like inside? I want that feeling. I want to experience it. I want to share it with you. Thank you for telling me about it. And I'm going to breathe that in and I'm just going to feel, I'm going to share in that feeling with you. Now we've just expanded. And if we can stay in that flow of energy, what's going to occur is what we're going to draw into our life. Doesn't mean we're going to get a $10,000 bonus, but we're shifting our energy and that which is rightfully ours will come into our experience. We will experience opportunities. We will experience goodness. We will experience a shift in energy. When we receive in accordance with the beauty of our being, not with the divided nature of our ego perceptions. I hope that makes sense. So what we're going to do now is take a short station break to hear from our sponsors, and we will be right back here at WLTK Talk Radio. So stay with us. Thank you.
Have fun for a great cause at the Broadhead Manor fundraiser July 1st, 2023. Help save the roof and restore this iconic building to its natural state. There will be a silent auction, raffles with your chance to win some amazing prizes, like psychic readings, and books by authors Chad Lewis, Todd Bates, and Christina Bloom. Attire from Expedition Entity and We Are Paranormal, and more. Join the fun July 1st at Broadhead Manor from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Bring the whole family. There's face painting and games for the kids, and vendors, psychics, food, and more for the adults. Broadhead Manor, where numerous spirits call home, located in Broadhead, Wisconsin. For more information, find them on Facebook.
I should have sipped my water while we were on break, huh? Okay, so once again, perception, that's how we experience through the senses. Okay, we're experiencing in the moment, this is what we are forming as the processing of information. The beliefs are more hardened. They're more deep-rooted within us. And then there's mindset, which is a belief system that is flexible and open to change. It is a person's way of thinking and their opinions, mindset's mental attitude or inclination or tendency. That's mindset. Well, hear someone say, oh, you need to shift your mindset. You need to change your mindset. You need to change the system of beliefs. Yeah, it involves changing belief, but perception as well, and opinion. So I want to talk for a moment about perception as written in the Course of Miracles. In the Course of Miracles, it says, the world we see merely reflects our own internal frame reference, the dominant ideas, wishes, and emotions in our minds. So we pause for a moment, we reflect on that. The world we see, that which we see, that which we are perceiving, okay, reflects our own internal frame of reference. The dominant ideas, wishes, emotions in our mind. That's the world we see. I was talking to someone recently, and they kept referring, they were in a relationship, and they kept referring to what they felt the other person was feeling. And what the other person needed was their perception based on their beliefs about that person. That's all that it was and is. It is not the other person's experience. And we are served best when we are interrelating with one another and we realize that when we are coming from the place of ego, which is the mind, when we are coming through the mind and we are believing something is a certain way, that's our ego. That's trouble. that's where we're going to have a difficulty communicating, a difficulty experiencing the best of which we have to offer. When we come from a place of neutrality, we come from a place of I allow you to be you, and then you allow me to be me, and we can have a conversation, and we can express what we're feeling without judgment. We're just understanding that there's only one of us here having the experience, and that one is God. That which created us. Yes, that's it. That which created us is having the experience as us, through us. And when we realize that we are consciousness having an experience, we could witness one another's experience and bless it. Bless it through the allowance of letting it be. And when we do that, we receive from each other the very best we have to offer. Therein lies the peace. Therein lies the joy. Therein lies the happiness. When we don't need anyone to behave a certain way, and we're not talking about a parent to a child when a child needs a little guidance so they don't hurt themselves. We're talking about in life, as we're relating to one another. And it does include parent to child too, realizing that our children are our consciousness as we are. And they are a blessing in our experience that have arrived in life to be together with us so that we can give to one another the very best that we have to offer. And when we treat each other respectfully and we come from the perspective of unity consciousness, of oneness, that we are all part of the same whole, then our journey is amazing. Then we experience the beauty. And we all have the opportunity to do that, no matter what we've experienced thus far in life. What we've experienced has gotten us to the place where we are in this moment. But moving forward from this moment, you have to take a breath in. No breath, no life. When you breathe in, I'm breathing myself in this experience, and I choose to move forward and open my heart. And I don't know what that's going to look like if I'm coming from a place that's been really dark. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what I'm going to experience. But I choose the experience. I choose to open. I choose to allow myself to be. I choose when I see someone and I jump into judgment of them to say, whoa, what have I just done? I'm sorry. Let me approach it again with an open heart and observe, simply observe and say, isn't that interesting? I allow myself to be, and I allow the other that I am experiencing to be as well. And that's the beauty. That's the vision. So the dominant ideas, wishes, and emotions in our minds, that's what makes up our experience. Projection makes perception. We look inside first to decide the kind of world we want to see, and then we project that world outside, making it truth as we see it. We make it true by our interpretations, our perception. We make it true by our perception. It's what we believe. That's what we want to see. We make it true. We justify our mistakes, our anger, our impulses to attack, our lack of love, in whatever form it may take. we will see a world of evil, destruction, malice, envy, and despair. This we must learn to forgive, not because we are being good and charitable, but because we are seeing that it is not true. We have distorted the world by our twisted defenses, and therefore seeing what is not there. As we learn to look past them or forgive at the same time, we are forgiving ourselves, looking past our distorted self-concept to the self that God created in us and as us. In us and as us. We are looking past the distorted view. We're looking past there's a separate me and a separate you. And I got to protect me from you. I've got to protect myself from this evil world. This evil world is the outpicturing of our collective consciousness. And as we each stand in our own power and we claim responsibility 100% for everything we experience in our life, for no thing arrives in our life experience without an invitation from us. We invite it because it's ours to experience. It's ours to balance. And when we realize that and we start doing that, the world shifts. We find it to be a more peaceful place. For we're holding the peace then within us. And what we hold within is what we experience in the world of effects. In truth, no separation exists. In this universe, oneness is the ultimate reality. Did we hit the ground in this life born knowing this? Not in our awareness here. We came into this world with a veil that closed off the true nature of our being, the understanding of that which we are, as we came in to grow and expand and have experiences to add to the ever-expanding life of that which we are. We came to learn, we came to share, we came to bless each other. When we see the world through the lenses of separation, we are caught with the perception of good and evil, right and wrong, pleasure and pain. We push against reality, it pushes back hard. It's simply a mirror of our consciousness. We are ever in battle against ourselves. When we are battling against someone or something, we are not happy campers. The reason we're not happy campers means that it's letting us know that we are outside the field of love. We are operating from our egoic sense. And that causes pain. We can shift at any point. We can pivot. We can turn. We can dance a different dance. We can choose love. Therefore, it is imperative that we judge not, resist not, accept, and exist only in the present. Experience what is now, not what has been, not our past, and not what is yet to come. Our struggle against ourselves ends once we accept unity. The universe is an expression of unity. Infinity is unity. All else is illusion. We believe that the one who sees and the object being seen are two separate events. In truth, they are one and the same. They are consciousness. The act of seeing is a continuous expression of energy. The idea that there's a separate individual doing the seeing is a hallucination of the mind. Consciousness projects matter, and matter reflects consciousness. That's something to review. Consciousness projects matter, and matter reflects consciousness. In truth, only unity exists. Unity is oneness. Whatever we give out, we receive because reality is one. You cannot experience freedom and hold another in bondage. It's not possible. It's not possible. I was with someone once who was saying how spiritual they are. And I'm okay. And then they are talking about other groups with disdain. And while they are putting on their essential oil and holding their crystals and planning their next ayahuasca experience so that they can reach their enlightenment. And I say, well, you can do all this, all you want. You could try as hard as you want. But you are going to be rooted right where you stand until you open your heart. You cannot ever condemn another and experience peace. It's not possible. Not possible. The world of duality is God's projection in order to create the illusion of separateness, the illusion of separation. But in and through there exists just the allness, God or infinite intelligence, one consciousness looking at itself through a kaleidoscope of experiences. How can we see differently? Through the process that we call atonement, at one-ment. Choose to see the oneness of all life and not the illusion of separation. Allowing ourselves all to have the experiences of which we choose, free from condemnation. Instead, we choose to live in love. We create the world of our choosing, each and every one of us. No one is given more power over any other. No one is higher than any other. We are consciousness in a state of awareness that we are experiencing life. Each equal, each created by love, as love, to experience love. That is our sameness. It matters not our age, our education, our financial status, the color of our skin, our preference and how we identify. None of that, our religious beliefs, none of that determines who we are. Nothing can take anything away from us. Nothing can change that which we are in truth. We were created by the Creator. We did not self-create. We are here as consciousness, having an experience. And I said I'd share something that happened to me years ago when we were warring in Bosnia. And I was sitting on the couch one day, and the kids had went off to school. And all of a sudden, I had a flash, a vision. And the vision, I was seeing through the eyes of a man. I could see him sitting on a curb in Bosnia, a street in Bosnia. And I could see also at the same time through his eyes, I saw what he was seeing. So I was viewing him and I was seeing as him at the same time. I didn't ask for this experience. I didn't take any drug to have this experience. I didn't even know what was going on at the time. I was just allowing myself to hold that experience. I saw him sitting there. I saw him looking out at the street. I saw him. smoking a cigarette. I saw him with a newspaper in his hand, and he was hitting himself in the head with a newspaper. And my thought is, why is he doing that? Why is he hitting himself in the head with a newspaper? Now, at that time, I read the newspaper every day. So a few days later, this is still fresh in my mind, I read the newspaper, and I read about this man in Bosnia. He was an official, and he was assassinated. He was shot in the head as he was entering the car of which was going to drive him to wherever he was going. And I went, oh my goodness. He was sending me a message, hitting himself in the head with the newspaper. You're going to read in the newspaper about me being shot in the head. Now, I said I didn't know what was going on at that time. Later, I asked the masters, what is this about? And they told me that this is a member of the soul group, of your soul group. You're having a shared experience. He was reaching out for love in the field, because he was elevated. He was at a point within his consciousness, he had evolved, that he knew it was available. So we shared that experience. And he's letting me know in that moment that there's life and only life, that there is no death. And no matter how something seems so horrific, it is all part of the illusion. In truth, we are one. And that was the beauty of that experience. That was the beauty of it. There's a quote by William Blake. It is, if the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. Infinite. We'd only have infinite intelligence, life, if the doors of our perception were cleansed and we held vision, the vision of oneness. We'd see only that which is infinite. There is only one of us here. That is. So I'd like to end tonight with, remember that you have within you all you ever need to experience success. What is required of you is the opening to this realization, coupled with the ability to allow yourself to be guided in new ways as you freely release what has been and embrace what is now unfolding. Here and now, you may create from the field of unlimited potentials, clearing a passage for you to rise in the experiencing of your truth. This is your task. You must seek to reveal the truth. You are here to be a revealer of truth, not a subject of falsehoods. Embrace your light and shine on. You are a star. So know we have perception, know we have beliefs. The perception drives our behavior, but at any point we can question what it is we're doing and say, am I allowing myself the freedom to be? Or am I holding myself prisoner by judging myself or any other? Am I seeing through the eyes of unity or the eyes of separation? You choose. We each evolve at our own rate in our own time in the beauty of that which we are. And so it is. Blessings to all. Thank you for being with me this evening. Have a good night.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.